Hey folks, Famous Dave here with the fourth in my video series on strumming techniques. This one has a fabulous clickbait title of Cheating with Chord Changes, but now that I've reeled you in with the title, let me explain what it's actually all about. So this is the practice that all guitar players use of kind of lifting off the fingers from a chord a tiny bit earlier than you might expect in order to make a change from one chord to another a little bit smoother or a little bit easier. So getting the timing right for changing chords is a tricky business. Building up speed in the fretting hand takes a lot of work, and then there are also some songs that have crazy fast chord changes that seem as though the chords are flying at you at a ridiculous rate. Desire by U2 is one such example. It goes like this. That's that's pretty quick. You can see some of the fast right-hand strumming techniques that I was using there. But despite the fact that those chords are absolutely flying along, there is a trick that we can use to help make those changes a little bit easier. And once you know this secret, you will hear it everywhere. We all do it. It's been recorded thousands of times. It's in songs that you know. And once you know the trick, you'll hear it and it'll pop out, it'll stick out to you. But what happens is this: as we play a chord progression, no matter how fast or slow, you firstly have to plan ahead as you play. When I'm strumming a chord, G for example, I need to be aware that the next chord is approaching, whatever that is. More importantly, I need to be aware when it's approaching. So you're counting your beats internally as you play, and remember, your strumming hand is helping you do this because counting is built into that repetitive motion, as we mentioned before in the first video in this series. And the trick is to begin moving your fretting hand into the new chord position about half a beat or so before you first need to strum it. So if you need to strum a new chord on the count of 1, which is very common, you should start moving your hand on the and of 4. Now you're lifting your hand off the chord just before the next 1 approaches. If you want to change right on the 1, you leave yourself with not enough time. So what we do is instead we sacrifice the last strum. Sometimes it's more than one strum, but we basically just sacrifice one of these strums to be just open strings. So you're literally going to hear that, or maybe it's a down strum, but you'll hear that sound in the middle of your chord progression. And our brain, whenever we listen to a guitar part that's doing this, it just tunes it out. It just decides to ignore it. I'm going to ignore those open strings and I'm going to pretend instead that it was a lovely consonant chord sound. So let's use the G to D exercise from video 1 to demonstrate this. I'll play it very slowly at first, and watch as I lift my fretting hand off the chord of G on the and of 4 so that I can land on the D right on the 1 beat. So it goes like this. Ready, play, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. That's the basis of the technique. It sounds quite prominent there when I did it in that last exercise. It's usually a little bit more disguised, but you can hear it really, really clearly in a lot of songs. I'll give you a few demonstrations. I'll put a link below to one song in particular, which is really, really apparent. It's called Don't Marry Her by The Beautiful South. I'll firstly play it at normal speed, and then I'll slow it down, and you'll really hear that those open strings. So you can hear that's a dum dum ching ching a dum dum ching ching a strumming pattern. But did you notice the open strings? let me slow it way down. We'll go to that speed. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and... As it's slowed down there, you can really hear it. You can see very clearly, I hope, the hand lifting off, and you can hear those chords with the open strings in between. And as the speed goes up, maybe the open strings are obscured a little bit, but they're still there. And now that you know what to listen out for, you'll hear it more clearly when you listen to this song and other songs. Here's a couple more examples. Save Tonight by Eagle Eye Cherry. At full speed. Pretty fast, using a lot of those right-hand strumming techniques that we looked at in video 3. But if we slow it down, we'll see lots of open strings here. So the next example I'm going to show you is Wake Me Up by Avicii. This is played with a capo on the 2nd fret. Hopefully at this point your ears will start to be tuning in to the sound of those open strings, albeit very quick, but you might spot them in here anyway. Nevertheless, I'll also play it very slowly for you, so you can really listen a bit more carefully and hear it more clearly. But here is the fast version of Wake Me Up. And now here is the slower version. And if I slow it down even more, I'll make those lifting off hand movements really, really clear. So hopefully you can really see and hear those open strings as I strum them. Notice as well how my strumming hand is behaving, even at this very slow tempo, just like a pendulum. So it's kind of a combination of a lot of different techniques that we've looked at in the last couple of videos. And there you go. That is the secret to cheating with chord diagrams. Incorporate this into your chord changes. It does make things easier. It seems a bit sort of counterintuitive, but believe me, it's everywhere. Listen out for it in the real world. You'll hear it in all sorts of songs all over the place. And keep up the good work, and we'll see you next time. Bye.